Welcome to the History of Simple Things, where we delve into the fascinating history behind the little things that shape our world. Hey there! Have you ever walked down the street, maybe while taking your dog for a walk, or just on a casual stroll, and noticed a fire hydrant? That sturdy, often brightly colored metal object that's always standing by like a silent guardian. But have you ever wondered, why do they look the way they do? I mean, fire hydrants have a very distinct shape, and they're pretty much the same wherever you go. So, why are fire hydrants shaped the way they are? Is it just for function, or is there more to the design? Well, let's dive into the fascinating world of fire hydrants and figure out how their unique shape came to be. First off, let's travel back in time a bit. Fire hydrants didn't always exist in the form we see today. In fact, before fire hydrants became common, cities used something called bucket brigades to fight fires. This was basically a line of people passing buckets of water from a water source to the fire. As you can imagine, this method wasn't exactly efficient, especially in big, fast-spreading fires. By the early 1800s, more modern fire suppression systems were being developed. The fire hydrant, as we recognize it today, started showing up in cities around the 19th century. But the real game changer came with Frederick Graff Sr., who is often credited with inventing the modern fire hydrant in Philadelphia in the early 1800s. His design included a valve to control water flow, and over time, this evolved into the version we're all familiar with today. Now, back in those days, the shape of the hydrant wasn't just about appearance, it was about functionality. The rounded top and cylindrical body weren't chosen because they looked nice on the sidewalk, but because they were practical for how hydrants needed to operate. Let's break down the design, starting with the shape of the hydrant itself. If you look closely, fire hydrants have a cylindrical body with a rounded dome on top, and often they have a few additional details like knobs, caps, and outlets for hoses. Each of these elements has a purpose, and it all revolves around making sure firefighters can quickly and easily access water during an emergency. The cylindrical body is key. It's strong and durable, made to withstand the high pressure of water flowing through it. Water pressure inside city pipelines is no joke, and fire hydrants need to be tough enough to handle that, without bursting or cracking. A cylindrical shape is naturally strong. It distributes pressure evenly, which makes it a good design choice for anything that's going to be under constant stress. Think about how pipes or water tanks are also cylindrical. It's all about managing pressure. The rounded dome at the top also has a function. Early fire hydrants, and even many modern ones, use a wet barrel design, where water is held inside the hydrant itself. The dome shape helps reduce stress on the hydrant, especially when it's being opened or closed. Plus, it acts as a protective feature, keeping the valve mechanism safe from debris, snow, and damage. You can think of it as a helmet for the fire hydrant. Next, let's talk about the outlets, or the places where firefighters attach their hoses. If you've ever noticed, hydrants typically have at least two outlets, a smaller one for regular hoses and a larger one, sometimes called the steamer outlet, for bigger hoses when more water is needed. These outlets are placed on the sides of the hydrant for easy access. Imagine if the hydrant had outlets on the top, or in some hard-to-reach place. Firefighters who are in a hurry would struggle to attach their hoses quickly. By placing them on the sides, it's much easier and faster to connect everything and get water flowing. But why aren't there more outlets? The reason has to do with simplicity and the potential risks of too much pressure. Fire hydrants need to balance accessibility with safety. Too many outlets could complicate things and make the hydrant more difficult to operate under pressure. The streamlined design of having just a couple of outlets makes it easier for firefighters to know exactly where to connect their hoses. Another thing you might notice about fire hydrants is that they stand above ground. In fact, they're pretty hard to miss. The decision to make fire hydrants stand tall instead of being buried underground is very intentional. During a fire, firefighters don't have time to dig around looking for access to water. The hydrant has to be instantly visible and accessible, especially in an emergency when seconds count. The height of the hydrant also ensures that snow, leaves, or other debris won't block the outlets. Imagine a hydrant sitting lower to the ground. Snow in winter could bury it, and during an emergency, firefighters would have to waste precious time digging it out. Instead, with its elevated position, hydrants stay above the ground, ready for action at a moment's notice. Speaking of being easy to spot, there's a reason fire hydrants are usually painted bright colors, like red, yellow, or even green. These colors aren't just random, they're chosen for visibility, and in some cases, to signal water capacity. In many places, hydrant colors follow a code that tells firefighters how much water pressure a hydrant can provide. For instance, a red hydrant might indicate lower water flow, while a green one signifies higher pressure. This color system helps firefighters make quick decisions in an emergency. If they pull up to a fire and need more water than a certain hydrant can provide, they can quickly scan for another one with higher capacity. You might be wondering, with all the advances in technology, why haven't fire hydrants changed much? That's a great question. The short answer is, they work. The design has been so effective over the years that there hasn't been a need for major changes. Sure, there have been some upgrades in materials and valves, but the core design remains because it gets the job done. When something is designed as well as fire hydrants are, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel. Their shape and structure have stood the test of time, proving that the engineers who designed them really knew what they were doing. So there you have it. Fire hydrants may seem like simple objects on the street, but their shape and design tell a much deeper story. From their cylindrical body to their mushroom-like top, every part of a fire hydrant serves a purpose, designed to make firefighters' jobs easier and ensure access to water is always fast and efficient. Next time you see one on the sidewalk, you'll know there's a lot more to it than meets the eye. Thanks for sticking around and learning about why fire hydrants are shaped the way they are. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below. We'll be sure to give you an acknowledgement for your contribution. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the history of simple things. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details.